This is the fifth video in the 5 things every teacher needs to know about Google Forms. And in this video, what we're going to do is we are going to look at comparing two different form lists. So if you have a master list of all of your students, and then you have a list of the students who have turned in a certain assignment, what you can do is you can have the lists essentially compare and find out who is missing and who did not actually complete the work. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need a master Google account list, and this list needs to have a unique identifier for each student. In this case, it could be the ID number. The best way if you're using a managed Google Apps domain is to have the Google Apps address automatically collected as students respond to the form and use that as the unique identifier. You can get a list of all your students' Gmail addresses by running a report through Q or whatever system it is that your school uses. You can also have students just complete a very simple form in the beginning of the year, and as long as you know that that form has all of your students in it with their email addresses, you'd be able to use that information. So what we're going to do is here I have my master list. It's got all my ID numbers, it's got the students by period. Currently it's not organized in any manner, but that's okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to this form, and this is the list of students that have responded and filled in the form URLs. Now I only have 16 students here who've responded. If I look at my master list, there's actually more than 16 students. There's a total of 23 that are enrolled in my class. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to create a new sheet in this master list. Okay, and I'm going to create a column. It'll be called assignment 1. But I'm going to go down here, I'm going to create a new sheet. So I'll add sheet, the little plus sign, and I'll get this blank sheet that kind of opens up. What I need to do is I need to import this data of the students who've submitted into here. So in order to do that, I'm going to use a function called import range. So it'll be =, import, and you'll see down here import range. Now what I want to do is I'm going to need the spreadsheet key. The spreadsheet key is going to be this part of the URL address. docs.google.com/spreadsheet/d, and then there's this kind of funky number in the middle of it. You're going to want to copy that, and we'll go back to our master Google account list, and what we're going to do is under spreadsheet key we're going to put it in quotation marks, and we're going to put in the spreadsheet key. Then we're going to go ahead and hit comma. Now we need the range string. In order to get the range string, we first need to get this sheet. So this is on the Google Form URLs sheet. It needs to be typed in exactly like that, and it is case sensitive. And then we need to figure out what columns we want. We want to actually import everything from cell A2 all the way through F17. But if we actually drag this down in case other students do so, maybe we'll import to F50 in case other students complete this form. The reason why we do it this way rather than just copying and pasting all the data in is this will be live. So as more students fill out this form, I'll get more people's data to import into our master list. So we go back here, and what we're going to do back in quotation marks is we're going to type in Google Forms URLs, right? I believe that was exactly what it was called, Google Form URLs. So I'll need to take out that S. Google Form URLs, and we'll put an exclamation point in. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it where to go. We wanted it to go from A2, and it's going to import, that'll be a colon, all the way to F, and let's just say F200. That way we'll make sure if more and more students add that we'll be able to get all that data. We'll close the quotation marks and hit enter. Now what you'll see is all that data is loading, and here we go, we have all that data imported into our new sheet. So the next part of what we're going to need to do is we're going to use a feature called VLOOKUP. We need to compare this list with my master list and find out which students have not yet submitted their work. So in order to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to, in assignment 1 at the top, we'll put an =, and we're going to run a different function. This function is called the VLOOKUP function. So we'll put in VLOOKUP, and the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to put in the search key. Now the search key is going to be the unique identifier. In this case we're going to use the student's Gmail account. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'll click on this cell right here, and you'll see that it puts in the search key, which is going to be B2. Now what we need to do is we'll put in a comma, and the next thing that we're going to have to enter is we're going to have to enter the range. But in order to get the range, we're going to have to go back to that new sheet that we had. And what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the data that we want in this range. The first thing needs to be that unique identifier. So we're actually going to start on this column over here, B2, and I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to just scroll down, and we're going to go to column F, and we're going to just drag it down. Again, if more people than have already submitted this form submit, this way we'll get their answers as well. Okay, perfect. So now I can go back and I have my search range, which is the name of the sheet with an exclamation point, and we have B1 and B2. Now these are both going to be, we'll need to put in $ between the B and the 1 and the F and the 58, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll put in the comma, and now what we'll need is we'll need the index. So what is it that we want to pull into this information? So it's going to match up the first columns that we've highlighted. Then we go up to the top, and remember we started in column B. So that's how it's going to match up the unique identifier with this column. What we need to do is we need to tell it how many more over for the data that we want. So if column B then becomes number 1, because that's where we've started, C is number 2, D is number 3, E is number 4, and F is number 5. This is going to be the data that we want. We want to know who submitted this project. So we go back, we go back to our code here, and this sheet 5 is not supposed to be there. What it's going to be is going to be the number 5. That's going to be the index of what we're using. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to type in the words false, and we're going to hit enter, and you'll see that it's now pulled in that document for this individual student. However, we want this to now apply to a whole bunch of students, so we'll click on it and we'll use this little drop down, and we're just going to pull this all the way down. Now what you'll see is we have some students that have documents associated with them. We have others that have an A. What that means is it did not find that value on the sheet we were looking at. So those students that report an A are students that have not yet completed this work. You then can take this data and you can organize your sheet to target those individual students. I know it's a little tricky, but it's a fantastic way to very quickly and easily find out who's turned in the projects and who hasn't. Good luck everybody, and have a great day.